And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Monday morning, flying weather here showing a lot of IFR from the Brooks Range out to the Arctic coast and a small area here over the northern Bering Sea. Marginal VFR all the way down across the Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, right on up into Kodiak Island and Cook Inlet with some IFR along the Alaska Range. And big area of IFR, Gulf of Alaska, right up into southern Prince William Sound and over the northern and eastern southeast coast. And for the afternoon, good VFR holds here in the interior with improving conditions along the Alaska Range. And for the eastern North Gulf Coast, a weakening front bringing some IFR in close to the coastline there, back up into Yakutat and extending into Lynn Canal, Glacier Bay with marginal VFR from the North Gulf Coast, Kodiak Island. Also up here, Brooks Range area, some marginal VFR, but clearing out to VFR for the Arctic coast, and some IFR over the northern Bering Sea. Otherwise, no change out west. And for the Tuesday morning time, we're looking at a little more extensive area of IFR here over the central northern Bering Sea. Otherwise, the Aleutians stay pretty marginal, as well as the Alaska Peninsula, Bristol Bay, Kodiak Island, right up into southern Cook Inlet. Back to some IFR here along the Alaska Range and some IFR along the North Slope, marginal for the Arctic coast. And looks like a narrow band of IFR here right up along the North Gulf Coast, eastern Kenai Peninsula, and down along the southeast coast. And for the afternoon forecast, marginal VFR for the southeast coast with some IFR also, especially along the outer coastline, staying IFR here for the North Gulf Coast. Otherwise, kind of mixed conditions here across southern Alaska. And VFR holds in the interior, marginal for the Brooks Range and the North Slope, IFR here over the eastern Bering Sea. And Atuvikanad again for the Brooks Range, kind of marginal VFR, improving to marginal VFR, a little lower conditions possible IFR early in the morning. And for Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal VFR, rainy looking marginal, and windy, marginal VFR, but VFR in the north side. Isabel VFR, so marginal VFR, mainly along the southern entrance. And Mentasta also VFR with marginal conditions south side. Tanita occasionally marginal, and Portage marginal. Chilkoot and White IFR. Freezing levels here, 4,000 feet, northern Bering Sea, Seward Peninsula, across the Yukon Flats there, 2,000 feet across southern Alaska and the North Slope, and about 2,000 to 4,000 feet for the southeast coast, and roughly 2,000 feet or so here. Most of the Bering Sea and the Aleutians into Kodiak Island, and then a little bit warmer up to 6,000 feet out to the west. Icing, looking at considerable moderate rime icing here across a good chunk of the southwest interior. Another zone here up along the Unalaska Island area to the Alaska Peninsula. Otherwise, isolated moderate or mixed icing here possible across southern Alaska and the southeast coast. And the jet stream have this upper low here at 33,000 feet along the southwest coast. North winds to the west of that feature at about 65 knots, and then a good southwest wind here up to 115 knots south of Kodiak Island across the Gulf of Alaska, but diminishing to 70 to 75 knots. 9,000 feet south to north flow here, 50 knots, Kodiak Island, about 40 knots here across the southwest interior, lighter to the north and to the east, and out to the west, coming around that low, northerly winds at about 35 knots. And then for 3,000 feet, northeast 35 there, nearer just south of the Pribilofs. Otherwise, the stronger winds here to the east of this low center, up to 45 knots there. And narrow band of some stronger winds here right along the North Gulf Coast, possibly up to 35 to 40 knots, and that extends down along the outer coastline of the Panhandle. And eastern Arctic coast, looking at east to southeast winds at about 35 knots. Or not the southeast coast, the western Arctic coast, looking at those winds. And for turbulence here, moderate chop, Bristol Bay, occasional moderate turbulence. And also for the Alaska Peninsula, looking for considerable moderate turbulence there. North Gulf Coast and along on the lee side of the central and eastern Alaska Range.